Welcome to Veterans Speak. We're here to bring hidden struggles into the light. Today, we're talking about a difficult truth. We're confronting one of the most frustrating obstacles in a veteran's journey. That obstacle is access to mental health care. It takes so much courage for a veteran to finally reach out, to admit they need help, to pick up the phone and ask for support. This is a moment of profound vulnerability. It's also a moment of hope. They're trusting that someone will be on the other end to listen. They're believing that help is finally within their grasp. But what happens when that hope is met with silence? What happens when the phone just keeps ringing, unanswered? Imagine the strength it takes to make that call, after months, maybe even years of struggling alone. You finally decide to seek help, and you're told the next available appointment is 3, 4, or even 6 months away. You're put on a waiting list with hundreds of others. You're told to simply manage your pain in the meantime. This is not just a delay. It's a dismissal of their pain and their courage. The silence on the other end of the line is a crushing blow. The journey to this point has been long and arduous. Veterans carry burdens that few can understand. They've seen things and experienced things that are hard to put into words. The decision to seek mental health care is a monumental step toward healing. It's an admission that the battle continues, even after returning home. When this brave step is met with an administrative wall, the feeling of rejection is profound. It can feel like the system they fought to protect has turned its back on them. It sends a message that their struggle is not a priority. This is the reality for too many of our nation's heroes. They gather every ounce of strength to ask for help, only to find that help is not there. The silence they encounter is not just an inconvenience. It's a barrier that can feel insurmountable. It can reinforce the feelings of isolation and hopelessness that they're trying so desperately to overcome. When a cry for help goes unanswered, the echo of that silence can be deafening. It leaves them wondering if anyone truly cares, or if they're destined to fight this battle on their own. The problem is widespread and deeply rooted. It stretches from the quiet rural towns to the busy, underserved inner cities. In many parts of our country, a mental health clinic is not just around the corner. It can be miles and miles away. For a veteran without reliable transportation, this distance is more than just an inconvenience. It's a complete barrier to care. They might see signs for clinics that are permanently closed. They may arrive at facilities that are outdated and understaffed. The very places that are supposed to offer healing often reflect a system in decay. This is more than just a logistical challenge. It's a systemic failure. The demand for mental health services for our veterans far outstrips the supply. This creates impossibly long wait lists. A veteran in crisis cannot afford to wait for months. Their pain is happening right now. Furthermore, many of the available providers lack the specific training needed to understand military trauma. They may not grasp the unique culture and experiences of service members. This can lead to misdiagnoses, ineffective treatment, and a feeling of being misunderstood by the very people supposed to help. Veterans are falling through the cracks of this broken system. We hear stories that are difficult to believe. Stories of veterans calling a crisis line only to get a busy signal or a voicemail. Think about that for a moment. Someone is in their darkest hour, reaching out for a lifeline, and they're met with a recording. What kind of message does that send? It tells them that their crisis is not important enough to be answered. It confirms their deepest fears that they are truly alone. This is not just a crack in the system, it's a gaping hole. When a system designed to support our bravest men and women fails so profoundly, it's unacceptable. These are not just statistics or caseloads. These are human beings. They are our fathers, mothers, sons, and daughters who served our country with honor. They deserve our unwavering support when they return home. They deserve immediate, accessible, and compassionate care. When the official channels fail them, we're left with a critical question. If the system will not show up for them, who will? Where can they turn when help seems to be nowhere in sight? The journey to find help often begins with a long drive. For countless veterans, care is not a local resource, it's a destination. They get in their cars, maps open, hoping to find a clinic that can offer relief. The miles stretch on. This physical distance is the first hurdle. It represents time away from work, money spent on gas, and the emotional toll of traveling. It's a pilgrimage of hope, but one fraught with uncertainty. Driving for hours alone with your thoughts can be difficult when those thoughts are the very reason you're seeking help. This is the hidden cost of access. It's not just about the distance on a map, it's about the mental and emotional energy expended. Then there's the crushing disappointment of arrival. After a long journey, a veteran might pull up to a clinic only to find a sign on the door, temporarily closed. Or they might walk into a facility that feels neglected and unwelcoming. This experience reinforces a painful feeling of being an afterthought. For a person already struggling with their mental health, this can be enough to make them turn around and never try again. The long road can easily feel like a road to nowhere. Access to care differs depending on location, but the outcome is often the same. In rural America, veterans live in care deserts where specialized mental health services don't exist. The nearest therapist might be far away. For these veterans, it's not a lack of courage, but a lack of available help. Cities present a different barrier, an overwhelming maze of facilities. Navigating the system is a nightmare. Veterans can feel isolated, lost in a bureaucratic labyrinth. Rural veterans are isolated by distance, urban veterans by complexity. The result is a feeling of being trapped. Help is out of reach. Veterans should not face such barriers to healing. The struggle for access is a national crisis, leaving too many to fend for themselves. The struggle for access includes doors that are closed right in front of you. One of the most frustrating barriers is trying to make an appointment. Imagine a veteran calling for help, their heart pounding. They dial the number that's supposed to be their lifeline, and what do they hear? A busy signal or an automated menu. This initial contact is so critically important. When that first reach for help is met with an automated response, it feels like an immediate rejection. It confirms their deepest fears that they're just a number. Each minute spent on hold can feel like an eternity. Even if they manage to get through to a person, the next door often slams shut. They're told the clinic isn't accepting new patients or the wait list is months long. A veteran in the midst of a mental health crisis doesn't have months to wait. This delay is not just an inconvenience. For some, it can be a matter of life and death. This is how hope dies. It dies in the echo of a busy signal. It dies during the long months on a waiting list. It dies with the words, "We can't help you right now." For every veteran who finds care, there are countless others who are turned away by these closed doors. They tried, but the system failed to open its doors to them. They're left wondering if there's anywhere left to turn. This is the tragic reality of a system that has become a fortress of bureaucracy instead of a haven for healing. The moment a veteran's name is added to a wait list, hope and dread collide. They're told to wait, days, weeks, months, with no clear answer. Each day in limbo, their struggles intensify, not fade. The silence from the clinic becomes a breeding ground for doubt and despair. Veterans are left alone, wrestling with their demons, feeling forgotten by the very system meant to help. The message is confusing. Your pain is real, but not urgent. The wait list isn't just paperwork, it's a daily test of resolve. For many, it's the breaking point. I waited 3 months for my first appointment, then they canceled it. I just gave up. A canceled appointment shatters trust and hope. The effort to start over feels impossible. The agony of the waitlist is that it slowly erodes hope, leaving only resignation. This is the silent defeat that too many veterans endure. After the wait, a veteran finally sits across from a provider, only to find a disconnect. The therapist may be skilled, but lacks understanding of military culture and trauma. Veterans try to explain their pain, but it's like speaking a different language. Their stories don't fit civilian frameworks, and crucial nuances are missed. Generic advice, think positive, just relax, feels dismissive. This mismatch can be worse than no appointment at all. It deepens isolation, making veterans retreat further. Specialized training isn't optional, it's essential. Without it, therapy is just another closed door. The veteran leaves feeling more alone, their pain unacknowledged. Our veterans deserve to be truly heard. In moments of desperation, veterans are told to call a crisis line, the supposed safety net, but sometimes the phone just rings. Or worse, there's a busy signal. I called a crisis line and got a busy signal. Imagine hearing that when you're at your lowest. The silence on the other end is devastating. It confirms their worst fear. No one is coming. The system's last promise is broken. This isn't rare. Veterans get voicemails or put on hold or hear a busy tone. Each failed call is a person let down in their darkest hour. The crisis line's failure is a symbol of a larger breakdown. When the final safety net fails, it's just another empty promise. Our heroes deserve better than silence. The echo of a missed call can be the final push over the edge. We must do better. This is the dangerous cost of an impersonal system. We must see the person, not just the file.
I was just a number.
Bureaucracy doesn't just delay care, it erodes self-worth. For many, it's enough to make them give up.
I started to believe I wasn't worth helping.
When a system reduces people to numbers, it loses compassion.
They see the uniform in my records, but not the person who wore it.
The process is cold, impersonal, and dehumanizing.
I was put on a wait list. 6 weeks became 4 months. Every call, I had to start over. No one asked how I was holding up.
Bureaucracy erases humanity, reducing years of service to digits.
I called for help. They asked for my social security number before my name. I knew then I was just a number.
These aren't just stories, they're lived experiences. When hope is met with neglect, shutting down feels like the only defense. The system taught him that vulnerability would be met with indifference. This is how systemic failure becomes personal tragedy. Our veterans deserve more than silence.
He stopped talking about what he was going through. "What's the point?" he'd say.
The system's failures follow veterans home, changing families and sealing them off from those who care. The sound of giving up is a deafening silence.
He never called again, he just got quieter. The system gave him the bricks to build his wall.
In that silence, hope broke.
After a 5-month wait, his appointment was pushed back 3 more months. He just looked at the letter, folded it, and walked away.
But each new obstacle chipped away at his faith.
He tried for a year. Endless calls, lost paperwork, canceled appointments. He believed the system would work if he just kept trying.
Sometimes the loudest pain is in the silence that follows. Specialized training isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Without it, therapy becomes another source of isolation. Veterans are left to fight their internal battles alone. We must see the real war within.
You can't just tell someone like me to be in the moment when my moments were filled with danger.
Well-meaning advice without understanding can deepen hopelessness.
I explained why I couldn't go to the grocery store. My counselor suggested mindfulness, but my training taught me to never relax.
The disconnect makes trust and healing impossible.
This wasn't a bad day at the office. This was war. They don't see the real battle we fight every day.
That word trivialized a life-shattering event.
I told my therapist about an ambush, about losing my friend. He just said, "That sounds stressful."
Veterans often feel fundamentally misunderstood by civilian providers.
In a world where so many veterans feel invisible and forgotten, these acts of faith-based service send a powerful message. You are seen, you are valued, you are not alone.
This grassroots movement is built on genuine care, driven by people who see a need and feel a personal responsibility to act. They are building relationships, offering a listening ear and a community to lean on.
These are simple acts of compassion, showing up when others will not.
It can be a church offering its space for a peer support group, creating a safe place where veterans can connect.
They can offer spiritual comfort, fellowship, and a sense of belonging.
They are on the ground in the communities where veterans live and can move quickly.
They're answering a higher call to serve those who are hurting.
They are becoming the first responders for the soul.
These faith communities also provide a crucial link to spiritual resources that a secular system simply cannot offer. They organize prayer lines and worship services specifically focused on healing for veterans and their families. They offer pastoral counseling grounded in Scripture, providing comfort and guidance for the moral and spiritual injuries that often accompany trauma. For a veteran wrestling with questions of forgiveness, purpose, and meaning after their service, this spiritual dimension can be a powerful source of healing. It addresses the wounds of the soul, not just the symptoms of the mind. It offers a hope that is eternal and unwavering. Ultimately, these churches are building sanctuaries, not waiting rooms. They are creating environments where a veteran's humanity is the first and most important thing. They are not asking for a social security number at the door. They are offering a handshake, a cup of coffee, and a safe place to rest. They are demonstrating that the answer to this crisis is not always another program or a bigger budget. Sometimes, the most powerful solution is a community that decides to open its heart and its doors, creating a haven where our heroes can finally find the peace and acceptance they so desperately need.
They're surrounded by people who may not have shared their exact experiences, but who share a common faith and a commitment to supporting one another.
Others have repurposed rooms to create quiet spaces for prayer and meditation, available to any veteran seeking a moment of peace. The focus is always on building a sense of belonging. In these spaces, a veteran can finally let their guard down.
And this looks different in every church, tailored to the needs of their specific community. Some have started dedicated veteran ministries, led by people who have a heart for service members. These ministries might host weekly breakfasts, which gives folks a casual setting for fellowship and conversation.
Many churches are intentionally opening their doors to become sanctuaries for veterans, creating environments that are warm, inviting, and free from the stress of bureaucracy. Here, a veteran isn't a patient waiting for a service. They're a guest, welcomed into a community.
A waiting room in a clinic, honestly, it can feel cold, sterile, and impersonal. It's just a place of transition, a spot where you wait to be seen. But a church sanctuary? That's totally different. It's designed to be a place of peace, reflection, and connection.
The support from the faith community goes way beyond just individual acts of kindness. It's really about creating physical spaces of healing and welcome.
Scripture offers hope. Psalm 34:18 reminds us, "The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." Faith communities share these scriptures, reminding veterans that God is always near. This divine presence is a source of hope. Physical presence and spiritual prayer is a powerful force for healing. This is how faith rises where the system fails, offering a transformative gift, presence, and prayer.
Knowing others are praying can be a source of comfort for a veteran.
Many churches have dedicated prayer teams for veterans.
Prayer is the spiritual extension of presence, bringing a veteran's pain before God.
It's about sitting with someone in their darkness, letting them know they're not alone.
When a veteran feels isolated, someone showing up can be a lifeline. It's about the ministry of presence.
Sometimes the most powerful thing we can offer is simply our presence.
This is our call to action, to stand in the gap. To stand in the gap means to place ourselves in the breach, to fill the space between the problem and the solution. We, as individuals, families, churches, and communities, must become the bridge between a veteran in pain and the healing they so desperately need. It is a call to be the hands and feet of Christ in a world that is hurting. Standing in the gap can mean checking in on a veteran neighbor, starting a small group, or volunteering time.
Where the system fails, hope can and must rise. We have seen the power of faith communities stepping forward to become the first responders of the soul, offering the profound and healing power of presence and prayer.
Their struggle is a stark reminder of our collective responsibility to care for them when they return home. Let us envision a future where every veteran knows they have a place to turn. A future where faith communities and local organizations work hand in hand to create a seamless network of support, addressing the needs of the body, mind, and spirit. This is a future where the stigma of seeking help is replaced by the celebration of courage. It is a future where the silence that once met their cries is filled with the sounds of fellowship, prayer, and genuine understanding. We have the power to build this future, one relationship, one conversation, and one act of kindness at a time. The system may be slow to change, but a community united in love can bring healing now. We encourage you to be the bridge. Stand in the gap. Show our veterans that they are not forgotten. Together, we can turn the tide.
Our churches can be lighthouses, our communities can be safe harbors, and our hearts can be open doors for veterans.
The scripture reminds us, the Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit.
This future is not a distant dream, it's a reality we can begin creating today.